A couple refuses to separate during a civil war. The husband is offered safe passage out of the country but stays to protect his wife and their home. Together, they become beacons of hope for others in the war zone. Love in poverty. Two high school sweethearts marry young with dreams of a bright future, only to face years of grinding poverty. Despite homelessness and joblessness, they never stop choosing each other every day. Even when society tells them to give up, a newlywed couple loses everything in an earthquake or hurricane. Living in a refugee camp, they rebuild their relationship from scratch, discovering deeper love and shared loss. Set in a near-future world after climate disaster or a pandemic, a couple travels miles on foot across ruined lands, searching for safety while relying only on each other. It's not just about survival, but about keeping love alive in hopeless conditions. Sharing a single meal or blanket in the cold, one partner giving up a rare opportunity, like evacuation, a job, or safety, for the other a simple smile or dance in the middle of chaos, a birth, proposal, or vow renewal during the darkest times. Gritty realism mixed with tender intimacy, muted colors during harsh times, warm tones for love moments, minimalistic score with swelling emotional highs. Zara, 29, a strong, nurturing woman who keeps faith alive despite her surroundings. Resourceful and resilient. Elijah, 31, her husband, a former teacher who lost everything but his love for her. Quietly courageous. Zara and Elijah were newlyweds when war broke out. The town was seized, and people fled. But they stayed behind, too poor to leave, too in love to abandon their shared roots. Now, living in a half-burnt home with no electricity or running water, they survive off scraps and memory. A charity convoy passes by offering Elijah a one-way ticket to the capital for a new life. But he refuses, unwilling to leave Zara behind. Tension builds as Zara secretly tries to persuade him to go and save himself, even if it means leaving her. But Elijah sees their love as his only remaining home. The climax comes when their home collapses in a rainstorm. Standing in the wreckage, soaked and shivering, they choose to stay, together, under a makeshift roof of sticks and plastic. The world may fall apart, but their hearts remain anchored. Establish their harsh living conditions. Show a moment of intimacy, sharing tea made from boiled leaves. Introduce the offer for Elijah to leave. The emotional divide. Zara insists Elijah should go. Elijah begins to consider it, torn between survival and loyalty. Flashbacks of their wedding during the early days of the war. A disaster, storm, militia raid, destroys their shelter. They confront the raw truth of their future, bleak but shared. They find peace in each other, under a crude shelter. Love is a form of rebellion against despair, the difference between surviving and living, choosing connection over escape. Sparse ambient soundtrack, rain, wind, silence. One emotional musical swell when they reaffirm their love. Visual contrast. Gray environment versus warm skin tones when they embrace. Zara and Elijah sitting beneath the stars, huddled under a broken tarp, laughing quietly. A candle flickers between them. The world behind them is dark, but their love glows. The sky is gray. Smoke lingers in the air like a memory that won't leave. A once thriving rural village lies in ruins, burnt homes, collapsed roofs, broken wells. In the distance, the faint sound of wind and distant bombing. A small house, half burnt, still stands crooked. Clothes hang on a line made of wires strung between charred wood beams. She sets one cup in front of Elijah, 31, who is scribbling something in a tattered notebook. Zara, softly, still writing those poems? Elijah nods, smiles faintly, trying. The words come slower now, like they're scared of the silence. Zara chuckles, sits beside him, both sipping the warm water like it's a feast. Zara, remember the cafe where we had real tea? Zara, 29, carefully pours boiled water from a tin kettle into two mismatched cups. The tea is clear, just hot water with a hint of bark. She walks slowly. Her steps are deliberate, conserving energy. Elijah, the mint one, with the wobbly table. Beat, you said it tasted like happiness. Zara, smiling, it did. A long pause. The warmth in their eyes battles the cold around them. A supply truck rumbles through the dusty road. Men in vests hand out water, canned food, blankets. The villagers swarm it silently, desperately. A UN worker approaches Elijah. UN worker, there's a space for one more on the bus to the capital. It's not much, but it's safer. You're a strong man. We can find you work. Elijah looks over his shoulder. Zara watches from a distance, unreadable. Elijah, I'm not leaving her. UN worker, think about it. The next truck won't come for weeks, maybe months. Rain patters on the metal sheets above. Zara paces. Elijah stares at the notebook, blank now. Zara, you should go. Eli. Elijah, no. Zara, you could send for me once you're settled. I'll survive. I always do. Elijah, you're asking me to survive without you. Beat. Zara's eyes brim with tears, but she hides them. Zara, I'm asking you to live. Elijah, you are my life. A sudden storm hits. The wind howls. Their makeshift home collapses. Zara and Elijah rush out, soaked, coughing from smoke and rain. Zara, screaming, everything's gone. Elijah, holding her face, not everything. He pulls her into an embrace, shielding her from the wind with his body. They fall to their knees, holding each other in the mud. A plastic tarp stretched between two sticks. Beneath it, a flickering candle. Zara and Elijah sit close, sipping from one cup. Elijah, we had nothing. No roof, no food, no peace. But love was our shelter. And in that, we had everything. Fade out. Text on screen. True love isn't proven in comfort. It's born in the fire. Gentle, heartfelt in a village long forgotten by peace. Stood a house barely holding together, and inside it, a love that refused to fall apart. Zara and Elijah. Two hearts bound not by comfort or riches, but by something far rarer, a promise whispered in the dark when the world stopped listening. They had no electricity, no money, no safe place to run, but every day, they shared a cup of boiled leaves and called it tea. Because sometimes, hope tastes like anything warm. One day, a chance came. A one-way ticket out. To safety, to food, to the life they used to dream about. But it came with a price, leaving the one who gave it all meaning. When the rain came, it washed away the little they had left. But not each other. Never each other. Because love like theirs doesn't live in walls or roofs. It lives in choices. They built a new shelter with sticks and faith, held up not by nails, but by vows. Some say love is tested in storms. But maybe, real love is the shelter in the storm. They had nothing, but they had each other. And that was everything. Wide shot of a burned-out village, rooftops caved in, smoke rising. Closer, a small, crooked home still barely standing. Zara steps over debris with a cracked kettle in hand. Elijah sits on the floor with a torn notebook, scribbling. Shot of a flickering candle between them. In a village long forgotten by peace, stood a house barely holding together, and inside it, a love that refused to fall apart. Zara boiling water over a tiny fire. Close-up of her pouring the tea into chipped cups. Elijah looking up, smiling softly, hands touching briefly as he takes the cup. They had no electricity, no money, no safe place to run. But every day, they shared a cup supply truck on a dirt road. Relief workers giving out supplies. One worker pulls Elijah aside and talks quietly. Elijah looks back at Zara standing in the distance. Zoom in on her face, unreadable, strong. One day, a chance came. A one-way ticket out. To safety. But it came with a price, leaving the one who gave it all meaning. Rainstorm begins. The metal sheet roof begins to shake. Roof collapses. Zara screams. Elijah pulls her into his arms, both on their knees in the mud, clinging to each other. When the rain came, it washed away the little they had left, but not each other. Wide shot of the field under night sky. A plastic tarp tied between two sticks. Inside, a flickering candle. They sit close, wrapped in a blanket. He kisses her forehead. She leans into him. They built a new shelter with sticks and faith, held up not by nails, but by vows. Close-up of hands clasped. Shot of their silhouettes under the tarp. The storm still rumbles in the distance, but their faces are calm, united. Some say love is tested in storms, but maybe, real love is the shelter in the storm. They had nothing, but they had each other, and that was everything. Wide drone shot of the village ruins, if unavailable. Static wide from hilltop, medium tracking shot of Zara walking slowly through debris, kettle in hand charred family photo on wall. Cracked window letting in dusty light Elijah's hand writing in a weathered notebook Elijah looking at Zara as she enters Zara boiling water on a fire, low angle, warmth from flames. She pours water into mismatched cups steam rising from cups Elijah and Zara sitting side by side, barely speaking but connected. Fingers brush as she hands him the cup aid truck pulling in, people walking toward it silently UN worker talking to Elijah, hands him a paper POV shot. Elijah looking past the worker at Zara's face, unreadable, strong. Wet eyes but firm jaw Elijah clutches the paper. Conflicted raindrops on tin roof interior shot as the structure gives way Zara screams. Elijah grabs her they stumble into the rain. Water soaking their clothes them kneeling in the mud. Embrace in field at night with a faint glow from a candle under a tarp the couple sitting cross-legged, wrapped in a blanket candle flickering. Zara's smile. Elijah's thumb stroking her hand she leans in and kisses his forehead interlocked hands in the foreground. Blurred candle behind the couple from behind under the tarp, stars above their faces calm as thunder rolls in the distance. Use an abandoned building, warehouse, or construction site with debris. For outdoor shots, find an empty field, vacant lot, or old farm structure. Add burnt props, blackened wood, broken furniture, fake smoke. Shoot in an empty room or garage. Use dark curtains to block windows for a power outage look. Bring in minimal props, candle, cracked teacups, old blanket. Use a pickup truck or van with handmade supply boxes. Label, relief. Use friends in plain clothes as background villagers and one in a vest as the UN worker. Camera, DSLR, mirrorless, Canon, Sony, Panasonic, even modern smartphones can work with a gimbal. Lighting, use natural light for most shots, golden hour for warmth. Reflectors, can be white poster boards, to bounce sunlight. For night scenes, use battery-powered LED lights, gel paper, or DIY lanterns. Zara and Elijah should be emotionally expressive, not necessarily professional actors. Ask for local talent, look at church drama teams, theater students, or passionate friends. Rehearse the emotional beats before shooting. Focus on natural chemistry. You can use nonverbal performance for many scenes. Let the voiceover carry the dialogue. Wide drone shot, or static, of a war-ravaged village. Close-ups of broken windows, charred walls. Zara walking slowly with a kettle. In a village long forgotten by peace, stood a house barely holding together, and inside it, a love that refused to fall apart. Zara boiling water over a fire. Elijah scribbles in a notebook. They sip the makeshift tea in silence. They had no electricity, no money, no safe place to run. But every day, they shared a cup of boiled leaves and called it tea. Because sometimes, hope tastes like anything warm. Aid truck arrives. Relief worker gives Elijah a paper. He looks at Zara in the distance. One day, a chance came. A one-way ticket out. To safety, to food, to the life they used to dream about. But it came with a price, leaving the one who gave it all meaning. Storm begins. Roof caves in. Elijah shields Zara. They sit in the mud, rain soaking them. When the rain came, it washed away the little they had left. But not each other. Never each other. Because love like theirs doesn't live in walls or roofs. It lives in choices. Tarp tied between two sticks. Candlelight. They sit wrapped together under it. They built a new shelter with sticks and faith, held up not by nails, but by vows. No roof. No safety. But still, they smiled. Close-up of hands. Wide shot of them sitting, storm still rumbling. Eyes closed, resting. Some say love is tested in storms. But maybe, real love is the shelter in the storm. Not in what we escape, but in who we stay for. Strong emotional range, grief, strength, love without words. Looks weathered by hardship but radiant with inner strength. Must be comfortable with outdoor scenes. Rain/mud simulated, any ethnicity. Quiet strength. Emotionally expressive through subtle gestures. Gentle but resilient. Protective but tender. Must be comfortable in low dialogue scenes driven by facial performance. When All Else Falls is a powerful short love story set in a war-torn village. It follows a couple who, despite losing everything, home, food, safety, choose each other. This project focuses on raw emotion, visual storytelling, and a narrative voiceover format. Minimal dialogue. Set in a war-torn village, this is a raw, moving love story about a couple who lose everything, but never lose each other. Minimal dialogue. Emotion-driven, visual storytelling. Elijah stands near the door, a crumpled paper in hand. Zara approaches, sensing something. Zara, softly, what is it? Elijah, a pause, they're offering a way out. One seat. Tomorrow. Zara looks down. Silence. The wind blows lightly. She doesn't cry, but everything in her face does. Zara, are you going? Elijah stares at her, his heart breaking. He doesn't answer. Zara, quiet but firm, then take it. Don't look back. She turns. But before walking away, she pauses. She doesn't say it, but we feel, please don't leave. This story, or series, explores how love endures through unimaginable hardships, poverty, war, famine, disasters, when all comforts are stripped away, but commitment remains. Setting, bombed out city, inspired by Syria or Ukraine. Couple, a nurse and a former soldier. Conflict. She secretly treats enemy civilians. He struggles with anger from losing his family. Climax. He finds her saving a wounded child from the other side and chooses to protect her rather than report her. Border refugee camp. Teenagers who were separated by conflict but found each other again in the camp. The girl is offered relocation overseas. Alone she chooses to stay, saying, "What's freedom without you?" Rubble of a collapsed building. A couple trapped beneath ruins for days. One is injured, and they know only one might be rescued. They speak about the life they dreamed of and say goodbye. But rescuers arrive just in time. A one-room shack in a slum, newlyweds with nothing but a shared mattress. They struggle with hunger, and the wife considers leaving so her husband doesn't suffer. He wakes up to find her gone. But she returns with a loaf of bread and says, "This is all I had to give." Elderly couple share their only meal. Ends with a neighbor witnessing their sacrifice, offering them food. Compassion, survival. Quiet love. Lovers separated by violence reunite under fire. They build a tarp shelter and sleep under it, in peace for one night. Rebuilding, intimacy, loyalty. A young couple is separated in a hurricane. The woman fights to reach her disabled husband. Themes, determination, vow-keeping. Grit. A teen writes letters to his love across the border. She finally appears with all his letters folded into birds. Themes, hope, patience, spiritual connection. An older woman reads a letter from her youth, connecting back to the first or fourth story. She closes it and says, "Love is what survived."